Born and raised in Puerto Rico, Carmen Yulín Cruz Soto had an eye on leadership since she was a young girl. And as mayor of San Juan, when a pair of deadly hurricanes devastated the Caribbean, her mettle was tested.
I am done being polite. I am done being politically correct. I am mad as hell.
So how did she go from humble beginnings to leading the fight against the entire U.S. government to help save her people and her homeland from catastrophe? And how did she clear her own path to breaking big?
And the American people are not that way.
What makes people successful? What are the unexpected turns in life that propel people to greatness? I'm Carlos Watson, editor of OZY. I'm out to uncover the real secrets behind breaking big.
Funding for Breaking Big provided in part by the Ford Foundation, the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, and by contributions to this PBS station from viewers like you. Thank you.
This is my office.
Regularly?
Yeah, this is my office.
And why is that?
People can knock on the door and say, Mayor, I have a problem, and they don't feel distracted by the big to-do of the city hall.
Pretty simple.
We have everything we need here, and that's there over there.
If I had met you when you were a young girl, would you have told me you wanted to get into politics?
Yes. Yeah, I wanted to change the world.
Known to her friends simply as Yulín, her path to politics began at an early age, drawing inspiration from her family and the island she was raised on, the U.S. territory of Puerto Rico.
Who do you admire?
Oh, I admire my grandmother.
Why?
She was a sugarcane plantation worker from nothing. She was the first one in her house to learn how to read and write. Went to Columbia University and NYU in 1945, when women weren't getting education like that. And she instilled in me the value of education as a great equalizer.
As soon as she arrived, she demonstrated what a kind of leader she was. She was very social. Our classmates and the janitor, the director, she was friend of everybody.
I was captain of the debate team. I was president of my class from 8th grade to senior year in high school. Then I started applying for college and got into Boston University. I took it to my dad and he couldn't say no. What I didn't know is that he mortgaged the house.
Like thousands of Puerto Rican students each and every year, Yulín left the island for college on the mainland. And once there, her hunger for knowledge grew far beyond academics.
I had a great time at Boston University. They opened the world for me. It just opened in me the thirst for more. Then I got a scholarship to study public policy at Carnegie Mellon University in Pittsburgh. I saw the working people of the United States. I loved living in the States, but there's a lot of work to be done here. And I always heard that little voice saying, "You gotta go back."
In 1992, Yulín returned home to Puerto Rico to serve as an advisor to the second female mayor of San Juan, Sila Calderón.
Sila Calderón marked a new era for women in Puerto Rico. In 2001, when Sila became governor, Yulín appeared.
I always wanted to be mayor of San Juan because the first female mayor, Doña Felisa Rincón de Gautier, she had one thing in her mind, and it was to walk the path of those that had less. And for that, she will always be remembered. So in 2000, I went in and I ran for office to be a member at large of the House of Representatives.
We were both running for the Puerto Rico House of Representatives, and we met in the campaign trail. I won, she did not.
She was working in and out because she was working also for the private sector. Then she came back, she ran again, and was elected.
Back then, we still don't know what kind of politician she was going to be. She was a work in progress.
Puerto Rican political culture is a mix from the whole Spanish tradition regarding not only politics, but also the Catholic standpoint of view. It's a real open space for political discussion. But Puerto Ricans sometimes speak much more liberally than they actually think.
In 2008, Yulín was elected to the House of Representatives as a member of the PDP, the Popular Democratic Party. And though it's considered the more liberal of the two major parties in Puerto Rico, it encompasses a wide range of political views.
I came from the far right of the political party that I'm in.
Really?
Yes, I was taught that way.
So your parents, conservative?
Very.
We're talking about 2008. Back then, I was probably the most vocal voice of the liberal sector within the party. Right now, being a liberal within my party is kind of a hip thing to be. But back then, it was actually a risk.
Talk to me about that transition.
Everything I am, could, is because somebody took the time to teach. 12 years ago, I wasn't up for egalitarian marriage. And then I met this gay couple that had been together more than I had been together with my 3 husbands put into one. One of them looked at me and said, "Why do you think you're better than me? Why do you think I shouldn't be able to get married?" And I had no answer. They changed me. And I was taught was that diversity really was a way to see our differences as a starting point, not as a wall.
She wanted to learn about the possibilities of a more progressive agenda within the party. She was totally comfortable on the streets with the people.
The student groups, the feminist groups, the teachers' unions, they allowed me to walk behind them. And it turned me from the representative of one political party to a public servant of an entire population.
In politics, it's usually quite notable when a person switches their ideology or switches their political party. One of the areas where people tend to evolve often are connected to their childhood or by their early adult experiences, living a little bit longer, taking a little bit longer to meet and engage with diverse sets of folks. Often they do end up taking a different position.
As Yulín's life in the House of Representatives progressed, so too did her ideology and her desire for change. And when the opportunity to be a leader of that change presented itself, she didn't hesitate to act.
This was 7 months before the election. A mayor of San Juan and a person that was running had a personal situation. He had to step down. So they had talked to everyone.
Nobody wanted to challenge the powerful mayor that San Juan had at the time, Jorge Santini. He has been the mayor for 3 consecutive terms, 12 years. And then Yulín raised her hand.
I'm like the kid in the back of the class, pick me, pick me. My party had meetings and meetings. It was like anybody but Yulín.
Yulín, are you sure you want to run for mayor? Because your chances are not really good. I know the numbers. There's no possibility that you're going to win this election. And she said, I know I can win, and I will win.
Finally, there was nobody left. And there I was saying, this is what I wanted to be all my life.
One morning, she showed up in my office. And it says, I am the candidate, and I need help. What about finances? You have any money? No money. I prepare a budget. You are going to need at least $300,000. When she went out to the communities, she became the voice for the most needy people of San Juan. Her campaign was there. Public housing, small villages, small barrios in the island, and she kept in touch with that people. That's what made her different. To my surprise, we found out that plenty of people wanted to contribute with money. We raised more than $1 million. Then we ran the campaign.
In 2012, after only one term in the House, Yulín mounted a grassroots campaign against a powerful incumbent mayor. Something that even those in her own party thought would be political suicide.
The then incumbent, he never said my name. He would call me esa señora, that woman. He didn't want to debate me, because that was beneath him.
Not many persons believed that she could win against such a powerful mayor as Jorge Santini.
He was very vocal and had all the resources. And Yulín was challenging, and not only that person, but the entire system.
I did everything the book says you shouldn't do.
What were your top policy goals?
One was community empowerment. Two was participatory budgeting.
What is participatory budgeting?
You take a portion of the budget and you let the constituents decide where the money is going to be spent. So it isn't your agenda, it is truly the people's agenda.
The least developed communities in San Juan, they need everything. And she signed an agreement with 20, 40 different communities defining the agenda in writing. You don't see politicians doing that. A commitment that is in black and white.
I invited a couple of friends who are understandable of political tactics, how to run campaigns. After observing how she was, said, look, let's not touch this woman. She is a wildflower.
Yo estoy aquí porque el poder está en la calle. Díganlo conmigo, el poder está en la calle.
I knew that there was an opportunity here to galvanize, to speak to those that had not had the doors open at City Hall. The immigrant population and the female population and the teachers and the men that had to work 2 jobs to make ends meet. Even though we all thought very differently, that we had some things in common.
Utilizing her skills for connecting with the people, Yulín's appeal began to rise.
She used to carry a bandana on the campaign, like a revolutionary. The bandana became so popular that we sold all the bandanas that we brought into the store. The store was packed. Something strange is happening here.
I went through hell with her in that campaign. To almost everybody's surprise, she won.
She ended up beating the powerful mayor of San Juan for more than 6,000 votes. That was a historical political event in the island.
What she did in 2012 was amazing. Galvanizing different social and political sectors, people of progressive and liberal thought, regardless of political party. It not only gave her the seat of mayor, it probably was instrumental in handing the Popular Democratic Party its victory in 2012.
After challenging political norms and uniting the disenfranchised communities, Yulín would finally be sworn in as mayor of San Juan, realizing the dream she had in her heart since childhood. But success never comes easily in politics, and Yulín would still face incredible opposition, even from those in her own party.
I have gone many times against my party, saying you're doing the wrong thing, this is not what you're supposed to do, this is not what I see in the streets.
Some people don't want her to say that our party has to change. She insists in telling the truth.
I don't let the politics of the party define who I am.
So you talk about being yourself, but I imagine it's not always easy in Puerto Rican politics, given maybe some of the machismo. For those who don't know what machismo means.
Well, it means that men are better, they're more intelligent, they have control of the social environment.
And that's not just something that used to be true 20 years ago, it's true today.
No, it's very strong. You know, if a man raises their voice in Congress, oh, he's being vocal. You're being hysterical.
You have now a liberal woman in a machista society. Of course, that has consequences.
There is a radio TV host that calls me a whore and a bitch.
Here
in Puerto Rico, continuously.
On the air?
On the air.
The situation of Puerto Rico, there is a certain amount of machismo culture. There is really some double standards, frankly. What's perceived as kind of assertive and being a go-getter for a man is often perceived as being either bitchy or being overly aggressive or bossy for a woman. There is the challenge of, trying to really lead the people in a way that is both attentive to the needs of the Puerto Rican people, but also speaks truth to power when it comes to the island politics.
While still learning to navigate the unwelcoming political culture, catastrophic disaster would soon put Yulin's leadership to the test. Did everything happen suddenly, or was it over the course of a couple of days?
16 hours.
16 very long hours. Very long hours.
Yeah.
Look, you can see that's how the entire park was. We couldn't do anything. I've never seen so much devastation, and I distinctly remember the people's eyes being glazed.
Our governor was telling everybody that everything was fine, while people was without electricity, without water, without food, without services, without health care, without all the basic needs.
We're pumping air into people's lungs, literally pumping it while we're having surgery.
Those weeks after the hurricane, everybody had the chance to see her exactly as she is. No makeup, no public relation officers, just a real person doing her job.
She never went out of the shelter. She had a mattress in the floor, and she worked from there. She lived there.
With shortages of food, water, and power, and U.S. federal aid slow to make its way to the island, Yulín decided she would need to speak out for her people and make a personal plea for help.
I have very little voice, but whatever voice I have left, I am going to use to make sure that people don't die in Puerto Rico.
While the Trump administration was saying everything's okay, people were coming here and seeing with their eyes that everything was not okay. So I played nice for a couple of weeks and stopped being politically correct.
She decided to challenge the establishment frontally. What is the problem? Well, that the federal government is not doing their job. Okay, I'm gonna tell the world that the federal government is not doing their job.
We are dying here, and I cannot fathom that the greatest nation in the world cannot figure out logistics for a small island.
It's been incredible, the results that we've had with respect to loss of life. People can't believe how successful that has been.
Nobody else denounced publicly what was happening. Nobody else denounced publicly that we have been neglected.
The world knows that the President of the United States has Yulín in his target just because she, a small Puerto Rican woman, defied him.
Thank you, everybody.
She faced him, criticized him directly, without fear.
He was insulting to the people of Puerto Rico. He minimized our suffering here by saying that Katrina was a real disaster.
Yulín helped Puerto Rico raise the level of concern about the severity of the damages. She manages to put the issue of Puerto Rico on top of everybody's agenda.
Nobody in the US that is paying attention to political media will tell you that they don't know who she is. She obtained very successfully a well-defined space into political discussions in the US to become relevant to not only Puerto Rican politics, but to the issues that worries Puerto Ricans in the mainland.
Despite her success in drawing national attention to the crisis on her island, not everyone in Puerto Rico was supportive of her efforts.
In the States, she had been applauded. She had been very well received with her message. Here are some people that had been timid their whole life in terms of their relationship with our state fear what she's doing, perhaps.
The local politicians said that I was putting in danger any bit of aid that the United States could send to Puerto Rico. 6 months later now, they're saying, no, we weren't treated right. Well, hell, what the heck did you think I was screaming at?
Yulín is a politician that takes a lot of risks. That's not usual. She defies the rule every single day. Sometimes I'm the one that has to call her and say, listen, I don't think that's the right way to do that. And she said, well, you gotta trust me on this one.
He kind of minimized. I knew the minute those words came out of my mouth that attention would be paid. Some of it has not been good. I've been widely criticized because, oh, she used her platform to bring attention to herself. But hell yes, because people were dying.
A new Harvard study found that 4,645 people died as a result of the hurricane and calls the government's official toll of 64 deaths a substantial underestimate of the true burden of mortality.
Yulín Cruz has been defying the odds and the naysayers her entire life. She did it to become mayor, and she did it to help save lives as mayor. And though she's journeyed through a firestorm of criticism, she's kept her eye on a singular goal: moving Puerto Rico and its people forward.
What would you like Puerto Rico to be 20 years from now?
We need to move to a universal healthcare system. Some people call it socialized medicine. Well, that just means making it right and fair. Our educational system, we need to ensure that the public school system is reinforced and that it does not only provide to people an education, but that the community itself is moved around the educational system. I fell in love with being a mayor.
Why?
Because the government is a platform for equalizing, for getting everyone to the starting line at the same time with the same skills. Now, what you do in the race, that's up to you.
She has grown with the position of mayor, but she hasn't changed as a person.
This morning I asked somebody, why would they want to interview me? Honest to God. I mean, I'm happy you're here, but I didn't do anything special. I screamed for help when we needed it. I didn't look the other way when people were dying. That shouldn't be special. That should be what people do.
What makes people successful? What are the unexpected turns in life that propel people to greatness? I'm Carlos Watson, editor of OZY, and I'm bringing you the untold stories behind some of the most extraordinary people on the planet to uncover the real secrets behind breaking big.
This is my trailer park. This is my daughter, Marina.
Pittsburgh born, huh?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
And this is my fire rescue, but it's pink.
Oh, nice. Breast cancer awareness, huh?
Yeah. This is the correct Puerto Rican flag with the light blue color. Rumor has it when the U.S. came, they changed it to the dark blue color so that it matched the U.S. And then children can come here and I give them gifts.
Breaking Big is available on DVD. To order, visit shop.pbs.org or call 1-800-PLAY-PBS. This program is also available on iTunes. Funding for Breaking Big provided in part by the Ford Foundation, the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, and by contributions to this PBS station from viewers like you. Thank you.